This is Heidi at Healing Harvest Homestead, and today we're going to talk about foraging Western red cedar and how to make a hydrosol with its leaves.
So here is a false cedar, also called the Tree of Life by the Nez Perce Native Americans. And these trees get up to 200 feet tall. In this area, not as tall, but I believe over more toward the coastal areas, they're very, very tall. And one thing I want to show you, so you can tell, this is also called a Western red cedar is the common name. But you can see how the branches are slightly red on the tips. And then if you look at the leaves, they're scaly. The genus of this tree is a Thuja, and the species name is plicata, so it's Thuja plicata. And then if you look at the trunk, let's see if I can zoom in here, it's a pretty thick brush, but the trunk is very rough back in there, and the bark is like a vertical. And this tree is wonderful. The leaves are good as an expectorant. It's useful as an antifungal. It's antimicrobial. So what I'm going to do is take some of these back, and I'm going to make a red cedar Thuja plicata hydrosol. So have you ever heard of forest bathing? I'm just going to mention it here because there's something about being in a wild forest with mature trees all by yourself, and it's just amazing. I have read, and there have been scientific studies done in Japan, that being out in the forest among the negative ions there actually has health benefits. And they've been doing studies on the workers in Japan because you know how they're all stressed out and tired and overworked, kind of like we are in America, but I think it's probably worse over there, that they have found that if you can get out into the woods or around natural trees that are mature for at least an hour a week, that the health benefits extend over a month. So just exciting stuff. Yeah, so Mr. V just asked me what I'm doing here in his kitchen, which is not his kitchen, but...
It is when it's time to clean.
Yeah, that's when it's Mr. V's kitchen. And what I'm doing here is I've got some Western red cedar that I foraged yesterday out in the forest. This is Thuja plicata, and what I'm doing with this is I'm getting ready to make a hydrosol, which is a steam distillation of it's an extract of the volatile oils of the plant through steam distillation. There's a little bit of essential oil that ends up in a hydrosol, but mainly it's just a water extract through steam. And they're often called flower waters as well. And pretty much any plant that you can make or derive essential oils from, you can create a hydrosol with too. And what I've got here is I've got a stainless steel bowl turned upside down. It's heat resistant in the bottom of this stock pot. And then I've got my plant matter. You can see how high it is. That's a good amount of plant matter. I had to cut that's probably about 10 little ends of the branches. These are very large trees. Okay, so then I'm going to put water in here about halfway up the sides of the upside down bowl. And then I'm going to put this heat resistant Pyrex container, little pitcher, right on top of this bowl. And then I'll be placing this on top of the whole setup, the lid upside down. And what that is going to do is as the steam rises up from the bottom in the heat, it'll drip down into the container here, hopefully. That's my plan. And in order to speed this up a little bit, I'll be putting ice on top of the lid. But I like the clear lid because it allows me to see what's going on in here. So let's take a look at how this looks. I just bottled up the Hydrosol from the red cedar into a mason jar. I got about a cup of the Hydrosol out of that plant matter, which was quite a bit, and I ended up using about 4 quarts or a gallon or so of water. You have to keep adding water so it doesn't evaporate and dry the bottom of the pan. So after all was said and done and the plant materials are spent, this is the Hydrosol that I got. And I just want you to see, it's just clear and beautiful because it's been distilled, but it smells so good. It really, really smells nice. And red cedar Hydrosol will clean the air. It's a wonderful expectorant. You can use it as a refresher. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it into a little spray bottle here. But I wanted to show you something else. So what made me decide to create a Hydrosol with the red cedar leaves that I foraged was this lovely little teeny tiny 5 milliliter bottle of essential oil that I bought from a seller on Etsy. It's Wild Roots Botanicals, and I am super impressed with this essential oil. Now, the essential oil is actually in the Hydrosol to an extent, but not very much. There's like a little thin layer on top, and that's what they do is they'll scrape off that little layer of essential oil, and then they get enough to put it into a little 5 milliliter bottle, and that would take a massive amount of plant material. So with a Hydrosol, you do have the powers of the essential oil, only it's just not as concentrated, and it's really easy to make on your own, and it's very useful, very similar to an essential oil. So to bottle this into a little 2-ounce spray bottle, I have a tiny funnel, and I'm going to just lift it up there to create. So if your funnel is sitting directly on the glass, the air pressure causes backups and problems. So I just kind of tip it a little bit. And I'll be honest, this is not my favorite funnel to use, but it's the only one I could find for right now. And I'm just going to gently pour this in here without wasting it, hopefully. Snaps. There we go. Alrighty. When you buy these spray bottles and the lids, you're going to have a very long bottom tube, so you do have to cut it, and you want to cut it at an angle. And I like to cut mine a little extra long. You can see how much longer it is than the bottom of the bottle, because when you go to put it on, the lid on, your tubing will curl up a little at the bottom, and that way you'll get all the liquid out. And here's my red cedar Hydrosol spray, and it's amazing.